Hi there, Simon from simonwood.com. I have 4 Sauvignons in front of me. Actually, that's not quite true. I've got 3.5 Sauvignons. One of them's a Sauvignon Semillon blend. Well, actually the other way around. But we'll get onto that after we've done wine number 1. Actually, have we got 4 countries represented here? We have got 4 countries represented. First one, and I've got the meringues in alcohol order. We're in Bordeaux and Calvé Sauvignon Blanc. And how much does it say this? Oh no, this is one of the sensible ones from Calvé. Calvé have got a range called Prestige de Calvé, which they sell. The recommended retail price is over a tenner, and then they're reduced to half price. The thing is, the wines don't taste all that good at half price, but I'm pretty sure that this one usually does come up with the goods. £6.50, 12% alcohol, Bordeaux Sauvignon, unoaked, as I think most of them will be. Maybe a couple of them will have a dabble of oak in there, but we'll find out when we get to them. And this is much more like it. I mean, the Prestige de Calvé was a bit flabby and lacked freshness. This has got zip, it's got grapefruit, it's got a bit of lemon in there, and there's a sort of almost like a lemongrass herbiness as well. It smells tasty, smells fresh, smells perfect for the sort of horrible day it is outside. Hey, it's sunshine in my heart. Just what I want from a Sauvignon. It's got like a mouth-cleaning, refreshing quality. Yes, it's got this citrus, maybe a dabble of something that's a little bit riper, maybe a touch of peach, nectarine there. But it leaves my mouth, it's not trying to overwhelm me. It's leaving my mouth entertained and thinking, I'll come back for the second half rather than move on and watch another film. Too many analogies? Hey, let's try the next one. We are now in Western Australia with McHenry Honan in Margaret River, to be precise. Semillon Sauvignon Blanc. Not sure quite the percentages of each of these, but let's give it a whirl. I mean, the SSB blend, as they call it there, is one of the classics of Australia, really. People I don't think appreciate it as much as they should do. Let's see how this one is. So it's 6 months older, and what I'm getting here from the Semillon component, getting a bit more fatness, roundness, maybe a little bit of toasty character as well. I'm still not sure whether there's a touch of oak in there. Don't see anything over toasty, smoky, but there's certainly quite a lot of richness. Is it just from the fruit? But the fruit flavours themselves, more on that riper edge. So it's got some of the citrus in there, but it's also going into what they call the stone fruit, but it's like green gauge and yeah, just right plums rather than the other end, the damsons and the very ripe peaches. And there's a little touch of spice in there too. I like that rich roundness, but still keeping fresh. It's got a bit more weight and punch to it. Feels more than, I mean, if that's 12% and that's 12.5, feels like there's a bit more body, a bit more grunt and grip here. There's this pithiness, there's those, yeah, as I say, the green gauge and citrus, and got a bit more length. More interesting, more tasty wine, but I think it's also more spondulous, so that's what you should expect. Let's go on to the final 2. Still in the Southern Hemisphere, we're with, and these 2 are both the same alcohol. This is the 2010 Errázuriz Sauvignon Blanc single vineyard, and single vineyard is in Casablanca from their La Escultura estate. And this has got more weight still. There's something I call almost oily. You know, when sometimes when you put, when did you last have Rose's lime juice? You know, when you put lime juice in something and you can see like this oily cordial flowing through the water as it slowly gets diluted. There's almost something of that oily lime juice character coming through here. But there's herbs as well, and it feels like it's going to be a weighty wine. And it's got some of those riper edges again, as the McHenry Honan did. So verging on the peach, and here it is more on that peachy edge than the green gauge of the McHenry. But there's also like something vanilla-like, not vanilla from oak, but just like really lovely fresh vanilla, and yeah, like a candied peel character. Doesn't feel like the fruit's gone anywhere near overripe. It feels like it's going to be quite bright and fresh, but yeah, there's this exotic edge to it. And it's got this nice pithy, rich, but mineral bite too. A nice mix of it's almost like, for me, Sauvignon Blanc for Chardonnay drinkers, people who want a bit more weight rather than a slightly shrieky Sauvignon character. This would be the wine for them, because there's this rounded, punchy peach edge. It feels also like a wine. I mean, this is it'd be interesting to try it next to the next one, which is 2011. I'm just wondering what this would have been like 6 months ago. whether it would have had a bit more crispness. But here, as it is at the moment, feels like one of those that's maybe not going to jump out and sort of go, hello, hello, this is wonderful. But I think both of these two pass what I call the empty bottle test. They're not too loud, they've got presence, they're confident, but they're not trying to shout in your ear or anything like that. I do like that. Yeah, quite weighty and fresh. Famous one to start with, to finish with, sorry, Cloudy Bay, hot off the boat, 2011 Sauvignon. And I think Cloudy Bay's first vintage was 1985, so they're getting up to 30 years worth of wine. So it's no longer the new kid on the block, it's the one at which everyone has a snipe. And sometimes, yes, there'll be other wines that in certain vintages are quite a bit better than Cloudy Bay, but for me, yes, there have been wines that maybe have overtaken it and got higher quality, but it's been remarkably consistent. And the Australians talk about the tall poppy syndrome, as in if you are standing up with your neck there, you're there to be to have your head kicked. So is the tall poppy syndrome here? Let's give it a sniff. Now, I saw my mate Jamie Good reviewing this the other day, and he really enjoyed it, but he said you should drink it as young as possible. I'm really not sure about that, because my experience with Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, and even more so from South Africa, is that some of the wines, because I mean, this is what we're in, start of October here, this wine would have, it's not much more than 6 months old. What I find is that the ones that tend to show well now often have that little bit of residual sugar in there to prop them up and make them fluffy and friendly earlier on, whereas the ones that are drier actually take till our spring, the New Zealanders' autumn, to show at their best. So for me, this is almost a wine to drink just as the next vintage is being picked, and those following summer, our summer, New Zealand winter. So I smell this, and it smells quite, I like that, the grassiness, but there's also a leanness to it. Yes, it's got an exuberant flavour, but it feels like there's a bit of a reined-in character, as if it's waiting to pounce. So I'm going to pounce on it. Yeah, that grassy lemon, lovely, bit of ever so slight touch of gooseberry, not so much of the asparagus. What I like about it is it's none of that green pepper shriek that some Sauvignons can have. Rounded, complete. It feels like a confident wine. It feels like a wine that no longer has to show off. And it's priced now $18.99. Maybe it is a bit on the pricey side, but a trailblazer. Tasting pretty good today, but as I say, I have a suspicion that 9 months from now it'll be tasting even better. I've had old vintages of Cloudy Bay when they've been like about 15 years old, and they survive remarkably well. Yeah, they change character, and sometimes some of those slightly tinned asparagus characters do come through. But yeah, remarkable how well they do stand up. But for me, at its best, sort of 15 to 18 months. So maybe dive in now before it all disappears and stock up. But yeah, that's the wine for next year. The two in the middle are for this year. And the Calvet look pretty good too. I'm not normally a huge fan of Sauvignons, but I quite like these four. See you soon.